Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today's November 7th, 2025. Thank you for joining us on this Friday edition of Weaponized News. We have Ruckus riding shotgun with us for the first hour, so I'll try to get through the intro as quickly as I can. Happy government shutdown day number 38. Are we going to wait for planes to fall out of the sky? I don't know. Maybe. I guess the Senate went home. The Senate went home for the weekend, and the government's still closed. We wouldn't have it any other way. SNAP benefits. Appeals court allows judge's order forcing Trump administration to pay full food stamp money. So now we have judges in this country allocating tax money. So, yeah, maybe they need a civics class. I don't know. But that's not how it's supposed to work. You got delays, flight cancellations and delays all over the country. What a nightmare it would be to be traveling right now. I would not recommend it. Public service announcement, do not fly commercial air travel at all if it's not of dire importance. I'm sure most people know that already, but hey. Hungary went to the White House today. Prime Minister Viktor Orban was at the White House today, and for his visit, he's going to be allowed to go ahead and keep buying Russian energy. So funny how that works, isn't it? We got that to go over. We got economic news. They're lying to us, okay? They're just straight up lying to us. Trump, the rest of these clowns on your television. Everybody living in the real world that goes grocery shopping knows this. Maybe MAGA doesn't. They just put on blindfolds and freaking whatever in their ears, and it's just MAGA Trump. And it's like, man, you people, we've been sold a bill of goods. Trump's a liar, and he rugged you, MAGA. Sorry to tell you. Maybe someday, some way, you'll wake up. I doubt it, though. So we got a bunch of economic news to go over. Lies coming out of the White House as per usual. And Trump profiteering and has monetized his presidency. He's making a gazillion. Well, he's a one percenter. The rest of us are we're still looking for that top ramen in the back of the cabinet that we thought we had. But turns out we ate it. What else do we got? They're bragging. We got the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, bragging about we're capitalist war profiteers, essentially. It's just truly disgusting. These people are freaking monsters, wrapping themselves in the American flag, claiming to be patriots. They're monsters. And then the big news of the day, I guess, is Turkey has issued an arrest warrant for our shadow president, Bibi Netanyahu, the greatest man the world's ever known as far as genocide goes, and 36 other aardvarks. So I guess it's time to sanction Turkey, maybe start a war with Turkey. I don't know how we do that, but I'm sure we'll find a way. Okay, with that, let's get to this day in history. And then we have a whole lot more news, but I can't leave Ruckus hanging there too long. Let's blast through this day's in history. On this day of November 7th, 1805, Lewis and Clark expedition first reaches the Pacific Ocean. They reach the mouth of the Columbia River. In 1820, James Monroe was reelected U.S. president on this day. 1848, Zachary Taylor was elected U.S. president on this day, the 12th president elected. In 1874, on this day, the first cartoon depicting an elephant as the Republican symbol is published by Thomas Nast. 1901, or I'm sorry, 1876. We haven't got there yet. To 1910. We saw a disputed presidential election. Where have we seen that before? President Rutherford B. Hayes claimed presidential victory as Talden wins popular vote, but electoral college votes are disputed by Hayes. Where have we heard that before? In 1910, on this day, we saw the first air freight shipment is undertaken by the Wright brothers and department store owner Max Moorhead from Dayton, Ohio to Columbus, Ohio. I'm sure they would appreciate the government shutdown now. And in somehow, some way, Woodrow Wilson was reelected president of America on this date, 1916. How the F that happens, I don't know. You tell me. It's not rigged or anything, right? They're not selected. We have democracy and your vote matters. 1917, on this day, the Russian Soviet Federation or Federative Socialist Republic is proclaimed. So your Soviet Union there. First Council of People's Commissars is formed with Vladimir Lenin, Leon Trotsky, and Joseph Stalin. What a crew that is. I'm not even going to get into it on this broadcast, but take a look at Aardvark Bolsheviks if you want to have a fun time in the Russian Bolshevik Revolution. On this day in 1918 of November 7th, it's reported here now. I'm highly skeptical. The 1918 Spanish flu, quote, pandemic spreads to Western Samoa, killing 7,542, about 20% of Western Samoa's population by the end of the year. Wear a mask or go to jail. Doesn't matter if the masks don't work. It's all pandemic theater anyway, isn't it now? In 1918, on this day, after the sad news of 20% of Western Samoa succumbing to the Spanish flu, the United Press erroneously reports World War I armistice has been signed. So at least we ended the war sometime, somewhere. Stopped shooting, maybe, of World War I. And then also, thought I had two. Oh, we covered the two. And then 1931. It's a great day for communism, actually. November 7th here. Chinese Soviet Republic, covering parts of 18 provinces and 4 counties under Communist Party control, is proclaimed by Mao Zedong. Chinese People's Republic proclaimed. On this day in 1944, FDR is reelected president of America here for his fourth term. That's not tyrannical at all. And in 1972, think of this. 1972, corrupt evil man Joe Biden, former Autopin man, 1972 is first elected to the U.S. Senate. So this bastard Joe Biden has been in the government for 50 years. You know what I mean? Stealing, looting, lying the American people. 1972, Biden first elected to the U.S. Senate out of the state of Delaware. 1991, on this day, Magic Johnson announces he has HIV and retires from the Lakers. Funny how he's still alive, huh? Isn't that funny? In the year 2000, on this day, Bush versus Gore, controversial U.S. presidential election between George W. Bush and Al Gore, is inconclusive. The results in Bush's favor is eventually decided by the Supreme Court. And probably the greatest day in American political history, Hillary Clinton, in the year 2000, was elected to the U.S. Senate out of New York. And yep, that's all we got on this day in history. Our civil rights, on this day in our civil rights history. 1973, Congress overrides Nixon veto, passes war powers resolution on this day. The vote in the House of Representatives was 284 to 135 in favor, and in the Senate, 75 to 18. The resolution requires the president to notify Congress of any commitment of troops within 48 hours and forbids military forces from remaining more than 60 days without an act of Congress as we gear up to invade Venezuela, South America here now. What else do we got? On this day in our civil liberties history in the year 2000, Congress passes Wartime Violations of Italian Americans Act. The history of violations of civil liberties during World War II is dominated by the evacuation and internment of Japanese Americans from the West Coast, authorized by FDR. The tragedy has overshadowed the internment of an estimated 2,000 people of Italian American descent who were also interned during the war. So Japs and I don't even know what's the derogatory term for Italians. I can't think of it. WAPs, right? And so these dirty bastard Americans were rounded up and put into internment camps by your U.S. federal government for your own safety, of course. And with that, we're going to go ahead and play this segue. Technocracy, pedal to the metal, full speed ahead here now. As we fight about Republican, Democrat, it ain't going to make a shitload of difference. We're being replaced by AI, according to one of the top technocrats, Elon Musk. Let's take a listen, and then we'll segue to the news and bring on Ruckus. Here it is. Here's Elon Musk telling you.
Even today, you've mentioned, though, that in a post-scarcity world, the role of money could diminish or become obsolete. Mm-hmm. Given that much of today's power, including yours, is tied to wealth, do you think achieving this abundance would require powerful people to relinquish their power? And how might we address resistance from those who hold power to make this vision a reality?
Well, I mean, I think actually long-term, the AI is going to be in charge, to be totally frank, not humans. If artificial intelligence vastly exceeds the sum of human intelligence, it is difficult to imagine that any humans will actually be in charge. So we just need to make sure the AI is friendly.
Ruckus, how you doing on this day 38 of government shutdown?
Well, I'm a little upset that you couldn't come up with a derogatory term for my ancestors. I am Italian American. That would be, of course, WAP, Dago, of course, my favorite, Guinea, Guido, Fredo.
Did you know 2000? I didn't even know 2,000 Italian Americans were rounded up along with the Japs during World War II.
And it's funny because I learned about that when I did a school report about, of all people and things, FDR. Yeah, true story. But yeah, no, yeah, that's, yeah. I think I think Guinea was the big one when I was a kid. There were some people called me and my sister Guinea Beans, actually. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, guinea beans for some reason. Anyway, but yeah, there you have it. Hey, Sam, tis the season. I got to give a quick public service announcement. Don't forget to visit your local Walgreens and get your shingles shit today. We would hate for you to catch shingles or shit. There you go.
Fat Bob's asking, is greaseball an acceptable derogatory phrase for Italian American?
There you go. Now he's thinking, yeah.
What do you think of Elon Musk, Mr. Technocracy here now that audited the Fort Knox and gave us that $5,000 check saying that AI is going to be in charge?
Well, I used to be worried that AI was going to be in charge, but since he said we were going to have a Fort Knox audit and we didn't, and a lot of these other promises he makes that never come true, I'm starting to feel much better about it. It's kind of like Jim Cramer. He says it's the opposite. There you go. Inverse Musk. That's how I'm thinking.
It might be, he says, but as long as the AI is friendly, like, come on, man.
Well, his version of friendly is a little too friendly. He's got the X-rated AI going on.
He's doing some
There's no
weird
open AI now, by the way.
Does Musk already have a brain chip? I don't know, man. I think he may. I don't know.
I've suspected that for a long time. You watch the way he talks sometimes, or when he's on stage, and he looks like it's almost like he's accessing some sort of information in his brain. And he's always talked very strange. It's almost like his brain is going way too fast for him to communicate his thoughts. That's my observation, anyway.
Tesla shareholders approve Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package. He has to meet a bunch of thresholds, of course, to fulfill this pay package. But if he does meet all these thresholds for investors, shareholders of Tesla, they're going to pay him off with a $1 trillion pay package.
Sort of. I mean, it's there's a lot of people. Yeah, think,
oh,
he just got $1 trillion.
Right?
It's in stocks. It's worth $1 trillion worth of the stocks, but then he only gets like a certain amount of it, like every 5 years or every 10 years. It's all structured out, and then it's also hinged upon certain hoops that he's got to jump through. The company has to reach certain goals, and it's not GDP, but it's overall sales. I forget what the effing word is for
net
that.
profit.
There you go. And pretty lofty goals in the high trillions. So it's crazy, but he's really thinks that he's going to be able to do that because of the robots and the brain chips, and now he wants to build his own chips. He wants to fabricate his own chips for his cars and his robots, of course. But we'll see.
Shutdown day number 38 here. The Senate went home. Trump says the United States Senate should not leave town until they have a deal to end the Democrat shutdown. Trump went home too. They all went home. The Senate went home. Trump went home. And so they all went home. And the government's still shut down. What do you think about this idea of killing the filibuster there in the Senate, which Trump is screaming for them to do? But if they do that, then as soon as Democrats get in charge, they're going to do all this court packing and all this stuff, making D.C. a state, making Puerto Rico a state, and all this, and who knows what other crazy plans they have. But as soon as they take over control of the Senate, it would allow them to easily fulfill their agenda.
Well, I do not condone killing of any kind, Sam. So I don't support killing the filibuster. Or wait a minute, maybe I do. I don't know. I would really like to see the government go back into operation. I'm tired of waiting. It's the waiting that's the hardest part. I want to see the new AI technocracy government already. I'm tired of waiting. Let's just do this damn thing already. Come on, bring it on, man. Let's do it. I can't wait.
If Republicans kill the filibuster, they sail to victory for many years to come. If they don't, disaster waiting to happen. You think is that true?
I want to see the Republicans sail on to Valhalla and all of that stuff. That'd be great, man. Hoorah, right? I don't know.
Tell Democrats to open the government.
It's so funny that's the way it's reported, like everywhere. It doesn't matter who you are, even if you're like NPR and CNN. It's like, well, the Democrat-led shutdown. Like, what? I thought, wouldn't they be like hiding that fact? Wouldn't they try to blame Trump? I'm like, I guess not. Weird. I guess they're proud of it.
From SNAP to paychecks to flights, every delay, every cut, every paycheck missed is part of their plan. Democrats are playing politics while Americans pay the price, the White House says.
Oh, and the White House isn't playing politics by reporting that particular way, right?
Nope, not even a
They're
little bit.
just stating facts.
Still sitting at the gate. Thank you, Democrat senators. They'd rather keep the government shut down than let Americans move forward. Time to reopen the government. Airlines cancel hundreds of flights Friday amid government shutdown. FAA reductions. That's from the White House. And then here's the map, the flight cancellation map out there for travelers. And you can see all over the country here, there's been 747 delays so far and 163 flight cancellations today between 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. And you can go here and drill in if you're a traveler and figure it out if you want to, hitchhike or take a plane that may fall out of the sky. I don't know, flightaware.com. You can sort it out there and hopefully make a rational choice about your travel plans here. Ruckus?
All of these emergencies and problems, and it's Democrats this and like, oh, woe is me. What can we do? Yet, did we?
No, if it's all Democrats, they swept the election we had on Tuesday. So it seems like if everything's everything, then people love the government being shut down, which I do. I didn't even vote, but if I did, maybe I would vote for Chuck Schumer.
But my point is that they're worried about the SNAP thing, and Trump's like, oh, I wish I could help. I wish there was something I could do. Oh, well, there's nothing I can do. There's absolutely nothing I can do. I have no powers that I'm willing to use for all my friends, all the other, like, why doesn't he do the pen thing when it comes to like all these important things that people are worried about? No. He just continues to play the politics and blame them when, he could just probably whip out his pen and do something. You know what I mean? It's silly to me. Not that he should, because that's not the point, but he does. And he does it for willy-nilly reasons that are silly willy-nilly reasons, but none of the things that could actually help people, I suppose. By the way, I heard a rumor that once the government does open up again, Sam, it's going to be really good for the markets. There you go. So all you crypto and stock investors, get ready if he does. If we kill that filibuster, is Valhalla to the moon.
Snap, this appeals court, they're in the chat. Def tells us Snap came today.
Yeah, we have judges who have been like kind of forcing it through, states kind of doing things. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's really going to stop and that there's going to be like EBT wars in the streets like freaking Mad Max or anything like that.
SNAP benefits appeals court allows judge's order forcing Trump administration to pay full food stamp money. Federal appeals court has declined to block a judge's order compelling the Trump administration to pay 42 million Americans full SNAP benefits for November as the federal government shutdown persists. The move came hours after the Trump administration asked the First Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals to allow it to pay 65% of food stamp benefits this month from a contingency fund, as the administration had proposed to the lower court judge earlier in the week. The Trump administration told states it will begin paying full SNAP benefits.
So what the Dems said, somebody stop that, block that now. Crazy.
So yeah, I guess everything's rosy again. You get your welfare, and planes haven't fallen out of the sky quite yet, but we're edging closer to that reality. Here is the White House is still open for business, apparently. Hungary Prime Minister Viktor Orban went to the White House today. See if we can spy a Freemason handshake here, as they customarily meet at the front door and or the side door and do the little handshake deal. Can't see it. Can't see it.
There might be something to that one, Sam. I think I saw the thumb right in the right spot. I think I did. I don't know.
Here,
It's hard for me to see
it's
on
hard
this.
to tell. They know too. They know people are keen to this stuff.
That's why they don't usually do it right there in this spot.
You know what I mean? They know. I don't know. It's tough to tell. But it was a very successful trip for Viktor Orban to the White House. And then here they are, of course. Here they are. Big thumbs up. Big thumbs up there.
What a slap in the face to the American people. Don't they know that the American people are the threat of going hungry with the SNAP thing, and they bring the prime minister from Hungary? You see what they're doing? And then all this turkey talk before Thanksgiving. You can't fool me.
Here's Viktor Orban wants to open a golden age.
I'm not here to ask help President Trump to manage my conflicts or our conflicts with the European Union. This is our matter, so we will do it. What we need is a golden age, to open a golden age of the United States-Hungarian relationship. That's the biggest help we can get from the United States.
And maybe Europe too. You know, we can include Europe.
All you had to do was say gold, and you got Trump.
Bingo. And then the other guy, he says like, well, and the other goes, oh, slow down, buddy. Let's just focus on me right now. Who's talking about Europe?
Trump says Hungary has no crime. There's no crime in Hungary, according to Trump here.
A very powerful man within his country, but he's also beloved. They love Victor, and people that know him do. He's run a really great country, and he's got no crime. He's got no problems like some countries do, but probably has a couple of things that I don't know about, maybe that I don't want to know about.
He has no crime. Who knew?
Grok, is this true?
Hungary has won a U.S. sanctions exemption on Russian energy. I thought we had to stop all these assholes from buying Russian oil because it's fueling the Russian war machine. This is what Trump beat us over the head with for the last month. But go say gold to him at the White House and you get a little waiver for him.
Promises made, promises delivered.
Look at this odd photo with the wings on some type of idol there at the White House for Trump. Take a look at this. Very bizarre. It's like Orban has golden wings.
It's a Red Bull commercial, Sam.
Hey, Chuck Schumer meme. Every day gets better for us. And we had a commenter on the Twitter that didn't seem to get the Dr. Oz meme here. So when we're on the memes, let me just pull that up quickly. And Dr. Oz is literally doing the Aardvark freaking meme right here. Look. He's literally doing it. That's why this is just too good, right? And of course, this is after Trump signed to sell the freaking venom to people on Trump RX. And there's Dr. Oz rubbing his hands together like a good aardvark. I thought he was a Muslim. Who knew? But there he is. Is that a troll by Dr. Oz?
I assure you, I have no idea what you mean.
That's the best troll of all time if he did that intentionally. That photo was posted by the White House, so I guess it went over their head, or maybe they're backhandedly trolling too. I don't know. Anxiety over government shutdown pushes consumer sentiment down to near record low, MarketWatch reports. Stock market on today, November 7th, 2025, Dow, S&P 500 closed modestly higher. NASDAQ falls as tech sees worst week since April. And then, let's hear from Trump. Let's hear him. he starts out with saying fake news. No, you're fake news, Trump, because you're lying to us all the damn time about this economy.
Fake news. What a NBC's gone down the tubes along with most of the rest of them.
If I ask, why do you think there's such a disconnect between the economy that you're describing day to day and the way many Americans say they're feeling and are concerned about?
Well, they feel better about our country right now, other than the shutdown, obviously, which is caused by the Democrats.
They said, why, if you couldn't hear that reporter's question, it said, why is there such a disconnect between the economy you talk about and reality, basically, and the rest of us? Well, it's because Trump is a detached elitist who's probably never, who knows when the last time this clown has gone grocery shopping. He is not a everyday's man and all this bullshit that they sold us as a right-wing populist candidate. He's an elitist 1%er that's overseeing the implementation of technocracy, scientific dictatorship. Ruckus.
I don't disagree with that in any way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, I wish I could trust the plan. Don't listen to the panicans. Trust in President Trump.
That was a great segue, actually. Did you see this in the trust in Trump from the Agriculture Secretary there, the 33rd, by the way. With that, should we play? Well, let's play this little short clip. President Trump and his entire administration, from the NEC to the Treasury to the USDA, are working hard every day to address the affordability. This is their new, and Trump even said that, this is their new propaganda term, affordability. No, it's called inflation caused by the government and debasement of our currency is what it's called. And so don't be spinning me around on your little bullshit, look that way routines. We know exactly what's happening is they're debasing our currency, causing inflation. The price of everything is freaking insane right now still. And we're disconnected, but Trump and his ivory gold tower wouldn't freaking know.
I think he does know. I think it's intentional. Yes, I really do.
I don't know how you couldn't know. You know what I mean? Yeah.
His son, listen, his sons run around and when Trump talks about it, he talks about how he's all like gung-ho for Bitcoin or whatever, but his sons literally say that the reason everyone should be owning Bitcoin and should be like investing in Bitcoin is because the value of the dollar is going down. They just literally openly talk about it. And I'm just like, this is so weird. I mean, if you're the country and like all of this stuff has always been hinged upon like the power of the almighty dollar. Like when I first started getting involved in geopolitics and all this stuff as an adult, I had this clear understanding that the world accepts the United States dollar as the world reserve currency, and that if something were to change, we could be screwed. It'd be like hell on earth, and like, oh, it'd be really bad for America. But here they're openly doing it from the inside out, and it's just like, I'm like, ultimately, is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. Probably bad, because of the alternative that they want to usher us into is this technocratic digital slave universal basic income CBDC type crap, you know?
Hi, Carrie. Weaponized news sounds. Arr, 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 arr. So the new propaganda word is affordability. Here's the Treasury Secretary. He got the script, and so they're all reading off the same script. Affordability. It's freaking ridiculous.
Affordability. There's the price, and then there's real wages. So what we saw under the Biden administration was, especially working Americans, real wages got decimated. The inflation rate was up 22%, but the average basket of goods and services that a working family bought was up in the 30s. So we have brought down inflation. Inflation came down in April for the first time in 4 years under President Trump. So the first thing to do was to bring down the rate of change. We're going to continue to bring it down. Energy prices are down. You might have seen yesterday Walmart came out and said that the Thanksgiving meals 25%.
Yeah, and we covered that yesterday, misrepresenting the data and their prices, lying to us as it was not even the same amount of items. So Treasury Secretary, they're pumping propaganda and just lying to our face. And here's Trump. lying to our face. Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Thanksgiving last year. Seriously? And they're talking about if you buy this pre-packaged meal from Walmart, then maybe that could be true. But who the hell wants to do that? A prepackaged Thanksgiving meal from Walmart is what they're talking about here. And it's not even the same amount of items as last year.
I just saw that Walmart came out with a statement last night. They've done it for many years, that Thanksgiving this year will cost 25% less than Thanksgiving last year under.
And the lie spreads around the world here now, just like polls, like all this data. The devil is in the details, Ruckus, and they don't care. They just, there's your headline, 25% less, Walmart, we're good. No, look into it, and you'll see that is it's apples and oranges data they're comparing here now.
Yeah, my instinct was it was going to be less amount of food and probably lower quality.
Shrinkflation. We don't even talk about shrinkflation either.
Thanks to this new food technology, we learned how to inject more carbon dioxide air to plump up the turkey. It's 10% less actual meat, but it weighs 20% more. It's amazing.
Allegedly, Trump's going to go after some monopolies here now. Big tech. I don't know. You tell me. Let's. As reported by Weaponized News, I asked the DOJ to immediately begin an investigation into the meat packing companies who are driving up the price of beef through illicit collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. We will always protect our American ranchers, and they are being blamed for what is being done by majority foreign-owned meat packers who artificially inflate prices and jeopardize the security of our nation's food supply. Action must be taken immediately to protect consumers, combat illegal monopolies, and ensure these corporations are not criminally profiting at the expense of the American people. I am asking the DOJ to act expeditiously. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I agree with Trump on this, but the problem is they're disingenuous, and you can never trust the government because they're always working on some other scheme that they put out this populist message that everybody can agree with when they're in the background working on who knows what, robot meat, who freaking knows, you know what I mean? But then Bondi, I don't know who Epstein is, but I sure know how to click my heels and reply to this. Our investigation is underway. My antitrust division, blah, blah. Really? Google, Alphabet, anybody? We're still waiting. Yeah.
It's kind of obvious what's happening here, and I forget the official term for this, so somebody out there who's much smarter than little old Ruckus will know exactly what I'm talking about. They are they're condensing down the private industries under the government control. Government is now going to be running your drugs and negotiating the prices.
It's called communism.
Ruckus. Sam, you ruined the gag, man. They were damn it. Spoiler alert.
We're free market capitalists when it comes to war profiteering, but
as soon as you do this, it's either they're exercising price controls basically and other types of regulatory control on the meat packing industry. And again, they're doing it in the name of the pricing, which again, the real issue is the inflation and all this stuff. And they're the ones who are artificially inflating shit. They're artificially inflating the numbers in the economy and the labor and all this stuff, right? But they're also, as I mentioned, they're also artificially inflating the meats. They're just ignoring all the horrible stuff that the meatpacking companies are doing to your food before it makes it to the grocery store and then inside your belly, if you're lucky enough, because SNAP ran out. Democrats, thanks.
Maha, just take your Ozempic. Ruckus, you'll be fine.
Well, yeah, I would be fine as long as I'm not the CEO, right?
They're like, who cares about eating? Just take Ozempic. Howard Lutnick, Commerce Secretary, Epstein's neighbor. He says, this morning I signed a memorandum of understanding with Kazakhstan Minister of Industry and Construction, advancing a new chapter of cooperation between the United States and Kazakhstan in the field of critical minerals. So isn't this wonderful. And there's Epstein's neighbor, Howard Lutnick. And then finally here, Trump's profiteering handsomely, him and his family. Trump wine hits government shelves. And so you can't eat, just take some Ozempic and get drunk, I guess. The Trump administration's second term push to monetize Trump's presidency has reached the aisles of military exchanges as Coast Guard run stores, which provide service members and their families with access to tax-free consumer goods, have stocked Trump-branded wine and cider. That seems like a conflict of interest, seems illegal to me, but what the hell? It's Trump, so the economy's
Doesn't even
great.
drink.
Allegedly. Yeah, so they're gonna wring out every last cent from this Trump presidency. Better believe that. All for our own good, of course. Okay, so a lot more news today. The White House claims 6 months in a row, 0 illegal border crossings. 0. Do we believe this? Ruckus, you believe this?
Does that include in and out? Then yes.
6 months in a row, 0 illegal border crossings. So you can cross legally still, I suppose, if you have a passport and a microchip in your brain, but 0. So
how many were shipped out? How many were sent home? How many were caught?
they say 1.6 million illegal aliens have self-deported, and another 400 some odd thousand have been actually deported by ICE. Something like this are the numbers, and they've been touting that 1.6 number for about a month now. So, but the excuse why we can't have economic data, immigration data, any data, the government shut down. So just trust me, bro. Trust me, Ruckus.
Of course, I forgot. Come on, Democrats. Let's end this filibuster. Kill it.
Mega detention centers. ICE considers buying large warehouses to hold immigrants. And so doesn't this sound wonderful? The Trump administration is exploring a plan to buy warehouses designed for companies like Amazon, sources said. This report at NBC News, which would drastically increase the Trump administration's capacity to detain immigrants, or you and I, political dissidents. As we covered at the very beginning in our history, they've rounded up American citizens of Japanese and Italian descent and put them in freaking internment camps. And don't you think they won't use this against us today? Because they will.
Well, I mean, they'll do all that at least until the AI needs those warehouses for their server racks.
And then you're terminated. Even the corrupt FBI thinks that masked ICE agents are a bad idea, as there's reports of robbers going around wearing masks, claiming they're law enforcement, ICE, and they're really just robbers, probably illegal aliens playing a big prank on all of us here now. But even the corrupt FBI says that ICE has gone too far here now with the mask wearing. And then is this racist, Ruckus? Is this racist? The Washington Compost claims it is. Labor Department social media campaign depicts a white male workforce. And they're talking about this meme. And it is all white boys here. Is this racist for the Department of Labor to be posting all white boys in their labor memes? What do you think, Ruckus?
No, that's not racist. It's racist and sexist and hurtful against trans people.
They go on to bemoan the fact that multicultural representation is not being done enough by the Trump administration here now.
Well, they would never do such a thing because that might be a dog whistle to a certain group of people who think that they're pretty supreme with their whiteness. You know.
It's a good segue. In this article, they say this isn't a dog whistle. This is a loud trumpet blaring that white men who are supporting their wives and children are worthy of good jobs.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a pretty loud whistle.
Oh man. Well, don't you worry because safedc.gov has the boot task force stomping on your face, so we'll always have that to fall back on. And then we're at the point of the show where we give you some Department of Homeland Security memes. Here's one you may like, Ruckus. This is a repurposed, it appears, from a war, probably World War One, I would assume, not 100% sure. Defend the homeland. They put a little ICE hat and join ICE contract in old Uncle Sam's hands there. Deport all foreign invaders. And they did another one. This one's kind of but hey, they got the symbolism in there. Defend the homeland. They have One World Center there in New York. What happened to the Twin Towers? I don't know what happened. But defend the homeland with a One World Tower there displayed in this meme from ICE.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I don't know about that. I feel like there's some sort of symbolism that I'm missing. But
there's a lot. There's a lot going on actually in this picture. The Golden Dome, the One World Trade Center. There's a whole lot going on here.
Yeah.
Nome touts 200,000 ICE agent applicants as agency ramps up deportation of illegal migrants. Applications flood in despite 8,000% increase in death threats toward immigration enforcement officers, ICE. And so we have 200,000 thugs signing up for this. There you go. And they've removed all education and age requirements. So does that make you feel any safer, Ruckus?
Age requirements?
age requirements as well.
So like you're telling me like a 12-year-old can join ICE?
A 12 up to your 90-year-old racist grandpa. Yeah.
I don't know about this one. Grok, is this true?
That's what Department of Homeland Security said. Hey, it's time to self-deport, they tell us. And so go ahead to get this
They're
app.
gonna do like a new series of 21 Jump Street, except it's just a bunch of high school kids ratting out immigrants.
Assist to voluntary self-deport. You can download this app on your Obama phone and deport your illegal self out of here. And so we had to do our civic duty and help the government there. Trump can now declare war on Venezuela. And so that passed the Senate yesterday. And upon all my reporting, I was thinking, did I misspeak? But it did pass. I thought it maybe, I don't know. Anyway, the actual report is the GOP-dominated U.S. Senate voted 49-51 to block a resolution that would have prohibited President Trump from launching military attacks against Venezuela without congressional authorization. So they
okay, so we still have not done the thing yet, right? Like actual got congressional approval for war.
They gave the authority to Trump and then screamed democracy at you and said Trump's a dictator, essentially.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Man, every day, like I tell you what, the news.
Why even have a Senate? Wow. Why have a Senate? Why have checks and balances in the government? You know what I mean? But they just say, hey, do whatever you want, Trump. You know what I mean? Go invade a country. And that is, we whacked another narco trafficker here. Alleged.
Prove it.
alleged narco trafficker. Here's video released by the Department of War. There you go. Exactly. Prove it. We don't know what the hell. The Department of War says those are evil narco traffickers out of Venezuela carrying fentanyl into America to kill you and I. No evidence. It's just the lying government telling us this, and we're supposed to believe it and cheer it on. Oh, they're saving us from the drugs.
It's AI. Those videos they're straight out of Call of Duty. They're using the same videos. That one's from 2014, everybody.
It may very well be. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is feeling the heat. He is, according to a report out of The Atlantic, he is willing to step down if the United States guarantees him amnesty. The Atlantic loves calling for amnesty for all crimes. They're great liberals over there in that matter. In that respect, if the United States guarantees him amnesty, removes the bounty on him, and provides a comfortable exile, then he will step down and leave Venezuela.
He doesn't have too many demands.
Yeah, not really. And then here is Pete Hegseth at this Fox News Patriot Awards, which is basically the war awards for political hacks, hack journalists. It's just, I can't believe this. I can't believe it, but they did it. The Patriot Awards on Fox News, where they're how many people is Fox News indirectly responsible for their deaths? I'd say it's in the tens of millions, probably even more than that at this point, with their war propaganda.
Fever just doing our jobs.
Fair and balanced. Here's a Secretary of War joking about national security. Old Walls there.
So many dear friends, so many people I love, so many incredible colleagues. I see Mike Walls. Mike, I'll hit you up on Signal later. Too soon? Come on.
Isn't it hilarious? They'll freaking literally drone you, put you in prison for life for national security violations. And this guy does it, and it's just all jokes and funny at the Patriot Awards, no less.
The real joke was that he told the Speaker of the House, Mike, that he would hit him up on Grindr. Oh, I'm just kidding.
I wouldn't doubt it. These people are disingenuous freak shows that just... I don't even... Because I was thinking about it, Ruckus. I was like, how the hell do you just... Your entire public persona is just... You lie. And I was thinking about that. I was like, how do you just... Everything is just a lie to the public. Like, how do these people do it? And it's just... I don't know. They're psychopaths is the only explanation. Yeah.
Is there a group of people on this planet who do that for a living, that it's accepted and known that they're lying to you and playing a role? That's right. They're called actors. They're called actors. And these people feel the exact same way about what they're doing. It is no coincidence that so many of these people come from like the Fox News. I mean, look at the Pete Hegseth. That dude's not really in charge of nothing. He's just a pretty boy face. He's just still doing the Fox News presentations, but for the government. It's so disgusting.
Well, he was doing Fox News presentations for the government when he was on Fox News.
And nothing has changed. He just got a fancy title, you know. Yeah. And who's running the scenes behind the scenes? That's what I'm worried about, because I think they already gave the control over to some sort of AI. I think they've already done this.
It's really looking that way. Viktor Orban, back to him, at the White House, said that there's no question that the war in Ukraine would not have happened if President Trump was in office. They have no freaking idea, but whatever. Hey, kiss up to Trump, and you get a lot of good treatment. Okay, they did a big.
What gift did Orban bring? Did he bring him some sort of golden idol?
We didn't see any.
He messed up, dude. He ain't gonna get nothing now.
Well, he said that there would be no war if Trump would have been elected. So I guess that may be good enough to massage his ego here now. A peer-reviewed study, I know, shows only 1 in 7 positive PCR tests in Germany corresponded to an actual bat infection.
1 in 7.
1 in 7. It's coming out.
They lie. There's no way it was 1 in 7. They'd be lucky if it was 0.01 in 7. I'm just kidding. Wow.
Here's that study. A calibration of nucleic acid, PCR, blah, 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 all the scientific jargon. Yeah, so 1 in 7, according to this study right here in the frontiers of epidemiology. Shocking, I know. Turns out they did. That is your Canadian government there. They killed a bunch of healthy ostriches. Outrage is 300 healthy ostriches are executed by firing squad after infectious disease claims. And they were using that same said PCR test to diagnose these ostriches with bird flu and then call about their subsequent termination, Ruckus. And so there you have it. Killing healthy birds with rigged up PCR tests with 1 in 7, according to this peer-reviewed study, actually being legitimate. It's wild, man. Canadian Food Inspection Agency enforced the culling of 300 ostriches at Universal Ostrich Farms in British Columbia today, initiating gunfire executions late last night, despite owners' assertions that the flock was fully healthy and free of ongoing H5N1 infection. Imagine that. Imagine that. You got an ostrich farm, and then here comes the health department or the Canadian Food Inspection Agency and says, your birds tested positive with our bogus PCR test. They're all dead now, and have fun this Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, dude.
I'm not sure ostrich is a popular dish for Thanksgiving. Yeah, no, this is sad, and it's ridiculous because of what you pointed out about the PCR tests. Yeah, 1 out of 7. I mean, it's a good thing we didn't shut down the entire world over some sort of blown out of proportion epidemic disease that was based pretty much solely on these tests that are only 1 out of 7. What the hell? Yeah, but we're just going to keep it on, and we're going to do the killing the ostriches by firing squad nonetheless. I mean, that's just kind of crazy to me too. But anyways, they do these things on purpose. They're like, well, we don't like people using guns anyways, so we'll use up all the bullets on these birds. There you go, right? It's crazy.
It's crazy. Canada is crazy. And we went over the MAIDS program yesterday. More reporting on that next week. Trump pardons ex-cop Michael McMahon. Tricked. He claims he was tricked into spying for China's Operation Fox Hunt plot to intimidate fugitives. This is a crazy story. Of course, he's a MAGA supporter. Michael McMahon said he had been duped after he was caught allegedly tracking down Chinese fugitives for the Chinese Communist Party while working as a private investigator. And apparently Trump believed him. He was sentenced in April to 18 months behind bars after being convicted of acting as an unregistered agent of the Chinese government, amongst other charges. And prosecutors argued that McMahon played a part in Operation Fox Hunt, which is a scheme where Chinese officials repatriate fugitives. And Trump gave him a pardon because he was duped.
Well, so Trump likes to pardon people who he feels got an unfair treatment, just like he did. He can relate. So Trump
pardon. I'm not even going to get into all that. I know you got to go now at the top of the hour. Let's plug your stuff, and then you could get on out of here to your next show. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker, a white background sticker, and a clear background sticker. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your guitar, your work locker, your hard hat, and anywhere else you can help support independent reporting and analysis, brought to you by Weaponized News. Go to weaponizednews.com. Okay, plug away there, Ruckus.
I'm going to put my sticker on all the Big Brother cameras lenses that I see in
There
town.
you go.
We're going to hop over here after this and do Boiler Room. You can find out about Boiler Room and all the other stuff that I do with my friends over at Alternate Current Radio by going to alternatecurrentradio.com. That's where you'll find Roundabout Ruckus. And then, of course, Patrick Henningson's stuff from Sunday Wire, the Odd Man Out podcast, my friends Mystical American Patriots Society right there. And then, of course, episodes of Boiler Room and all of that fun stuff. So check out alternatecurrentradio.com for all that. Thanks for having me, Sam. It's been a blast. Enjoy the rest of your show, and I'll see some of you folks later for the Boiler Room. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruckus. And with that, we continue with the news here for you. Yeah, everybody said Fat Bob was an asshole. We always knew he was a great, loving man, as is evidenced in the chats here. Just kidding, Fat Bob. We love you, brother. Okay, continuing here with the big news of the day. Well, we have a couple. We're on geopolitical news now. We got this documentary I want to play at the end, so I want to get through our geopolitical news. Think Before You Post, a documentary by Spiked, and we'll have to sign off on the YouTube to play it, but it's about a 43-minute documentary about technocracy, how the UK fell to a sinister new form of censorship. Think Before You Post, and that will play us out at the end here, just to let everybody know about the second half of Weaponized News. Welcome back to this November 7th, 2025 Friday edition of Weaponized News. Some geopolitical news for us as we do the end of this show, the second half. Let me try to find where I'm at here. Okay, Cornell University reaches agreement with Trump administration to restore hundreds of millions in federal funding after months of federal scrutiny over accusations of anti-Semitism and discrimination in admissions. And so Cornell University bent the knee to the protection racket that is known as your U.S. federal government, according to a report out of the New York Times. They'll go ahead and pay $30 million fine and invest another $30 million in agriculture and farming efficiency programs to regain hundreds of millions in frozen federal research funds. Turkish court issues arrest warrant for shadow president of America, Bibi Netanyahu, over Gaza genocide. Turkey Istanbul Chief Public Prosecutor's Office issued arrest warrants today for Aardvarkland Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and 36 other suspects on charges of genocide related to Aardvarkland military operations in Gaza. The warrants target multiple high-ranking Aardvarkland officials, including the characters we always cover here, Defense Minister Katz, National Security Minister Ben-Gvir, Border Security Minister Zamir. We don't cover that guy very much. And Aardvark Naval Forces Commander Salama, according to a press statement from the prosecutor's office. And I think we do it. Here is the press release. Here is said press release from Turkey. The genocide that the state of Aardvarkland has systemically carried out in Gaza to date, and as a result of crimes against humanity, thousands of people, including women and children, have been decapitated. People have lost their lives Thousands of people have been injured again, and settlements have been destroyed on the day of, and January 29th, 2024, when it became known that a 6-year-old girl named Hindi Recip was killed by aardvark soldiers. 335 were killed by bullets, especially, and they go through it. It's really small print here. Anyhow, the big news is that we gotta go ahead and sanction Turkey now for this, as we did the ICC, ICJ. No bad antiseptic talk against genocidal maniacs that are running aardvark land, you see. And so now we've got a big bone to pick with Turkey over this. Trump concludes group call with Netanyahu and President Tokayev of Kazakhstan. I just had a great call. Well, let me put it on the screen here for you. I just had a great call with Bibi and Tokayev of Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is the first country of my second term to join the Abraham Accords, the first of many. This is a major step toward building bridges across the world. Today, more nations are lining up to embrace peace and prosperity through my Abraham Accords. Well, there's still aardvark land still bombing the hell out of Lebanon. There's still heavy artillery fire being reported in Gaza. We'll get back. We'll do more of that reporting in a minute. Let's get through more geopolitical news first. Serbia passed a special law enabling a $500 million luxury redevelopment of a bomb-damaged Belgrade military complex by a company tied to Jared Kushner. The Trump family and Trump himself are profiteering handsomely from his second term in the White House. They're wringing out every last freaking penny they can get. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has removed or sidelined more than 24 U.S. generals and admirals in 9 months. More were pushed out with little explanation, often against top brass's recommendations. Officers linked to former Joint Chiefs Chair Mark Milley, supportive of DEI programs and critical of the Trump administration, claims were frequently targeted, according to a report out of the failing New York Times. There it is right there. The U.S. Army plans to buy at least 1 million drones within 2 to 3 years and potentially millions annually after shifting to treat drones as expendable ammunition. The move is driven by lessons from the Russia-Ukraine war and aims to boost a robust U.S. supply chain, reducing reliance on China, according to a report out of Reuters. Peace through strength for the war profiteers. And then here is the disgusting Pete Hegseth bragging about being a war profiteer. Here you go. It's these people are evil, man.
If we do that, the Department of War is, of course, big time supportive of profits. We are capitalists, after all.
Who the hell is supportive of war profiteering? Apparently these maniacs. And for a fair reporting, and I don't know, maybe this is true. It may very well be true. This report out of the Aardvark Post tells us now, because I'm an Aardvark, Rom Braslavitsky calls torture, sex abuse at the hands of his captors He explained that he wasn't beaten because of Netanyahu or National Security Ben Gvir. It was because he was an aardvark. It wasn't because of the genocide going on there. You know what I mean? And this comes out, and he also claims of rape, sexual abuse, and the like. And as a detailed account of his torture, it may very well be true, but this comes on the heels of the giant prison rape scandal by the IDF against Palestinian that's been, it was reported over a year ago, but now it's broken again with the whistleblower army lawyer woman from Aardvark land, right? They had to resign. There was a whole thing. Did they nap her? Did they terminate her? You know what I mean? And so that turned into a big old scandal, and it's broken into a big old scandal. And now we get this story. And it may very well have happened, but I'm just saying it's very coincidental. After the Aardvark prison rape story, we get this story of an Aardvark being raped by his captors. Is the story he tells. It may very well be true. Some of the details are insane. That he's reporting he was tortured. What do they say? Stones in his ears. This is not even the right report. I was reading it. And so it is quite horrific, and no one should have to go through that if it is indeed true. But I'm saying it's suspect on the heels of the prison rape story breaking internationally this last week, is all I'm saying. And it could very well have happened, and they could have tortured him, and everything he's saying could be true. I'm just saying I'm a little bit suspect about the timing that this story's coming out, okay? Washington confirms a boycott of UN human rights review. The United States and Aardvark land are the only two nations that have refused to attend the United Nations review of their human rights records. 2 countries in the whole freaking United Nations, America and Aardvark land. Huh? All 193 UN member states are required to undergo the standard review of their rights record every 4 to 5 years. Each country has received recommendations from other member states on compliance. The United States will become only the second country to boycott the UN review, because they know damn well that Aardvark land has committed war crimes, ethnic cleansing, genocide, crimes against humanity, pure effing evil. They know damn well what went on. And so they're not going to stand up to any scrutiny whatsoever. They're boycotting the UN Human Rights Review. Letter by 100 Aardvark reservists, and there's also reports today that they're pulling back the reservists there, so drawing down some troops, it appears, for the time being. The quote ceasefire is in effect, don't you know? Letter by 100 Aardvark reservists warns of morale collapse in Army conduct. I don't know why. There's, blowing little kids' heads off all over the place. Around 100 reserve soldiers and officers, including several lieutenant colonels, have sent a letter to Aardvark Army Chief Zamir denouncing what they described as a decline in the values of the Aardvark Land Army during the war. The signatories cited widespread harm to civilians in Gaza, the West Bank, and Lebanon, and said Aardvark Land forces had abandoned the so-called purity of arms principle. They called on military leadership to restore discipline and eliminate unlawful behavior, warning that the erosion of values has also damaged operational effectiveness. That's what happens when you commit genocide. That's what happens. UN says Aardvark land rejected over 100 humanitarian aid requests for Gaza since the quote ceasefire went into effect. The United Nations has revealed that Aardvark land has rejected 107 requests for the entry of relief materials into the Gaza Strip since the so-called ceasefire took effect on October 11th, blocking essential humanitarian supplies and items like blankets, winter clothes, as well as tools and materials to maintain and operate water, sanitation, and hygiene services. Nearly 90% of the requests were from over 330 local and international NGOs. A UN spokesperson said that some of the rejected materials were deemed by aardvark authorities to fall outside the scope of humanitarian aid. Other items are classified as dual use, ranging from vehicles to their separate parts to solar panels, some types of mobile lanterns, x-ray machines, and generators. The UN also emphasized that aardvark land detonations of residential buildings have been reported daily in multiple areas where the aardvark military remains deployed, especially in eastern Kunyanis, eastern Gaza City, and Rafah, and near the so-called Yellow Line. Aardvark land attacks continue to result in Palestinian casualties. There's a ceasefire, bro. Trump deserves a peace prize, bro. Gaza overwhelmed by 2 million tons of water after aardvark lands waste. Mountains of rotting, fly-infested garbage now fill Gaza streets and camps, piling up among the rubble left by the genocide. I don't smell any fresh air. I smell a foul odor in my tent. I can't sleep. My children wake up in the morning coughing, said Raid, pointing to the dumpster near the tent where he lives with his wife and 4 children in Kianis, southern Gaza. The scale of the waste problem in Gaza is huge, UN official said. He noted that the 3 major dumping areas now lie along the border in aardvark land in zones inaccessible to Palestinians. We're talking about 2 million tons of waste untreated all across Gaza. Skin diseases have spread a lot because of overcrowding in tents, and the tents are next to garbage dumps. Report out of Reuters. They're humanitarians. Aardvark Land Embassy in Washington spreading misinformation about detained Palestinian American child Mohammed Zar Abraham, a 16-year-old Palestinian American from Florida, has been held in aardvark administrative detention in the occupied West Bank since February 16, 2025, without charge or trial, following his arrest during a midnight raid on his family's home in the occupied West Bank. According to reporter Jasper Nathaniel, the Aardvark Embassy has circulated a letter to Capitol Hill, which included disinformation about omitted details of the harsh prison conditions that have caused a serious decline in his health, including a loss of a third of his body weight. U.S. lawmakers, including Representative Kathy Castro and Maxwell Frost, and Senators Chris Van Hollen and Jeff Merkley, have urged the State Department to press for his immediate release ahead of his November 9th detention review hearing. And here is this 16-year-old Palestinian American. Aardvark Land dumps hundreds of millions into U.S. influence efforts, targeting evangelicals in church, with the largest U.S. geofencing operation in history, and influencing Google search and AI responses from ChatGPT and Claude. Sorry on my French accent. Very good for you today. Hezbollah propaganda. Aardvark land dumps millions into U.S. influence targeting evangelicals in church and ChatGPT. Aardvark land's government has allocated millions of dollars in contracts to U.S. firms for public diplomacy efforts targeting evangelical Christians and AI platforms like ChatGPT amid eroding support. Foreign Agents Registration Act filings document payments routed through Havas Media Germany, which has handled at least $100 million since 2018 for Aardvark tourism promotion in the United States. The largest agreement, a $6 million 4-month deal in August with Clock Tower. We continue to report on this. It seems significant in the whole war for our minds and war propaganda campaign to convince us that they're the good guys over in the Aardvark land committing ethnic cleansing and genocide. Of course, Clock Tower X, owned by Brad Parscale, Trump's former digital campaign manager, funds anti-septic campaigns producing 100 core content pieces monthly, such as videos, podcasts, graphics, and text, plus 5,000 derivatives for 50 million impressions. 80% of the content targets young Americans on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, distributed through Salem Media Networks, over 200 conservative Christian radio stations and websites where Parscale serves as strategy lead. Hey, Christians, they're lying to you. They're lying to you. I think it's a little bit too late, honestly, but they're going to continue the effort. This includes the largest U.S. geofencing operation, mapping parameters of major churches and Christian colleges in California, Arizona, Nevada, Colorado during worship hours to identify 8 million churchgoers and 4 million students via commercial data for continued ad targeting. They're manipulating you. This is not of God. This is of the devil, Christians. If you can hear me out there. If you can hear me out there. They're running propaganda campaigns to put scales over your eyes about the evil doings of Aardvark land, you see. Do not be deceived. U.S. intelligence learned Aardvark land military lawyers believed there was evidence suggesting Aardvark land may have, quote, may have committed war crimes in Gaza. Despite internal concern, the Biden administration continued supplying weapons because it said, quote, it said it lacked definitive U.S. evidence of international civilian targeting. They weren't listening to Weaponized News because we reported on it the entire time here. Some officials objected, but the issue was dropped after Trump took office. That's a report out of Reuters. They know damn well what the hell's going on there. And to claim anything different is an outright lie. I know, shocking. The U.S. government would lie about such things. Orthodox Aardvark in New York caught on camera spray painting a swastika after the Call Me Socialist, whatever he is, new dude in New York one, man, Danny, Here's the video. And they're known for this now, right? This is not a one-off. They're constantly doing the antiseptic hate and then screaming, I'm a victim. This is kind of their thing. And so they got the aardvark on the camera, spray painting the swastika. Here's the swastika. It's the end of the world. Let me tell you, there's neo-Nazis running around everywhere, spray painting swastikas. Turns out it's aardvark staging false flag Jesse Smollett hate crime attacks. Par for the course. And here's Mr. Technocracy, Palantir CEO, Alex Karp, on the new alleged Muslim Democrat socialist, blah, 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 all the scary stuff from New York mayor. So that's why they voted for a Muslim commie from outer space. We do have his full interview there. I believe it was with Axios. Probably cover it next week if there's any. I honestly didn't have time to listen to it, but I will over the weekend and see if we can find some more tidbits about our technocracy future here now. Here's Dr. Mark Perlmutter, an orthopedic surgeon from America, testified that aardvark land snipers deliberately shot Palestinian children, often aimed at their heads and chest. No toddler gets shot twice by mistake.
You're saying that children in Gaza are being shot by snipers?
Definitively. I have 2 children that I have photographs of that were shot so perfectly in the chest I couldn't put my stethoscope over their heart more accurately, and directly on the side of the head in the same child. No toddler gets shot twice by mistake by the world's best sniper. And they're dead center shots. All of the disasters I've seen combined, 40 mission trips, 30 years, ground zero, earthquakes, all of that combined doesn't equal the level of carnage that I saw against civilians in just my first week in Gaza.
And when you say civilians, is it mostly children?
Almost exclusively children. I've never seen that before. Never seen that. I've seen more incinerated children than I've ever seen in my entire life combined. I've seen more shredded children in just the first week.
Shredded?
Shredded.
What do you mean?
Missing body parts, being crushed by buildings, the greatest majority, or bomb explosions, the next greatest majority. We've taken shrapnel as big as my thumb out of 8-year-olds, and then there's sniper bullets. I have children that were shot twice.
And those are the bastards that did all this, that they don't be antiseptic, support them. It's just beyond the pale here now. And they haven't even let international journalists in there yet. You know what I mean? Because they know damn well what they did, what they continue to do. And it's just, there's no other explanation but pure evil.
This is because I've heard some of the press saying, well, it's a very tentative, or it's not tentative. This is a very strong peace. This is peace in the Middle East. Hamas is a very small part of it, very, very small part. And if they don't do as they said, if they don't behave, then they've got themselves a big problem, a really big problem like they've never had. But so far,
what is this guy even talking about? He's talking out of his ass. There's no ceasefire. They're stacking bodies. So they're trying to cook up this international peacekeeping force. Turkey's definitely not gonna. Notice how Aardvark Land said Turkey's not going to be involved in this international peacekeeping force in Gaza. And they said, oh, yeah, here's a arrest warrant for you, Bibi, you piece of garbage.
And I'll tell you, we've had countries that have volunteered. If there's a problem with Hamas, as an example, or a problem with anything, but they volunteered to, on a single basis, go in and take care of it. And I'll tell you.
They've been genociding the whole place for 2 freaking years. But, oh, yeah, they're gonna go take care of it. Mm-hmm. Gaza's Director General of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Munir al-Barsha, said Gaza is suffering from a severe shortage of medical supplies and required miracles due to the blockade. This is actually a backhanded blessing for them. Aardvark Land has deprived more than 600,000 Palestinian children of miracles. That's actually a backhanded blessing. You should count your blessings for that one. But this doctor, brainwashed by Rockefeller medicine, loves those miracles. Yeah, so what ceasefire is he talking about? Being reported earlier today, as has been every day for the last 2 years, heavy artillery shelling targets areas in eastern parts of the central Gaza Strip. There's a ceasefire, bro. That's why they're firing heavy artillery at them right now, you see. Aardvark Land soldiers firing live bullets at protesters in the occupied West Bank. That's peace, bro. Kazakhstan to join the Abraham Accords in a symbolic move. Kazakhstan announced today it will join the so-called Abraham Accords and strengthen relations with the criminal Zionist entity is a reprehensible and unacceptable step. It amounts to whitewashing the genocide committed by the occupation against the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. This is a statement by Hamas, by the way. At a time when the fascist entity and its war criminal leaders face growing international isolation and persecution or prosecution by the International Criminal Court, we renew our call on all countries, especially Arab and Islamic nations, to sever all forms of relations with the criminal Zionist entity, reject any normalization projects with it, and instead work to support efforts that strengthen the steadfastness of our Palestinian people and their just legitimate struggle to achieve freedom, independence, and the establishment of their own sovereign state with Aardvark Land, or Jerusalem, as its capital. A statement by Hamas again. Don't drone me, bro. I'm just trying to give you both sides of this thing, man. Recent Aardvark Land airstrikes on Lebanon. Just a preview, says Aardvark Land official. According to Aardvark Land Channel 12 News, a senior military official has said that Aardvark Land strikes in Lebanon were just a preview of what is to come if Hezbollah is not disarmed. The ultimatum echoes similar threats being made against Lebanon in order to pressure the state to disarm Hezbollah, despite over 5,000, quote, ceasefire violations committed by Aardvark Land since November 2024, which have resulted in the killing of over 300 Lebanese citizens. You see, Aardvark Land ceasefire, maybe somebody should tell Trump. I'm sure he already knows. It literally means whack them and stack the bodies and then say, there's a ceasefire, bro. Oh. How many violate? Oh, they've only had 5,000 ceasefire violations With Lebanon, don't trust the aardvarks. We got video. Let's play a couple of these clips. Here's southern Lebanon. A resident narrowly escapes the impact of an aardvark airstrike. It's from yesterday. Just to give you an idea, I don't like playing any of these war. It's just horrific. All the videos of the people, children, women, men, with their arms, legs, faces blowing off. I mean, that stuff was all over, right? And I played very little of it for you because I believe that is war pornography and it's horrific. But the airstrikes illustrate the scale of what they can do, what they are doing and have done and continue to do there. Armed aardvark settlers attack a Palestinian farmer while he was picking olives in the town of Sinjil, north of Ramallah, in the occupied West Bank. Assaulted him and stole his olives.
أنا أبوك أواد شو سوي يعني المهم هنقونا غاز نكلاب.
These settlers, ultra-Zionists, as we continue to report here, a roving band of homicidal maniacs is what they amount to. They've taken shot at Russian diplomats, at UN diplomats. They just go attack people in their homes and kick them out and maybe kill them. They're destroying any type of agricultural economy that these poor dirt farmers have. Local reports that huge fire has broken out. They're burning down their olive orchards and any other agriculture they got going on. They're settlers burning Palestinian land and trees in the West Bank. UN reports aardvark, quote, settlers, which is just a roving band of homicidal maniacs. They've even taken shots at their own friggin' IDF. UN reports aardvark settlers carried out 264 attacks on Palestinians in the West Bank last month. In the month of October, 264 attacks, the highest total of attacks since 2006. Aardvark land to offer new settlers 2 years of zero income tax to push for more migration. So they're giving you economic incentives to go be a homicidal maniac over there and terrorize the Palestinians and steal their property and maybe even murder them if you're lucky. New settlers and returning settlers arriving next year, 2026, will be granted a 0% income tax rate for their first 2 years in aardvark land under a sweeping new tax reform unveiled yesterday. The reform, part of the 2026 state budget and announced during a ceremony at the offices of the organization of Nefesh B. Nefesh, which supports illegal aardvark settlement to aardvark land, the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, aims to attract skilled professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors amid rising global anti-aardvark sentiment and shifting tax policies in Western countries such as Britain. This is a Zionist and economic revolution, said Finance Minister Smotrich. It's worthwhile being a new aardvark land settler, he said. to go over there and be a homicidal maniac. You have now zero tax for 2 years. I think we've illustrated in great detail the scale of evil that's going on there with the ethnic cleansing genocide program carried out by America and Aardvark land. The rest of the world sees it too. Don't be deceived by their propaganda, please. And again, we're going to play this documentary. It's about 43 minutes about Big Brother UK technocracy. Think before you post how the UK fell to a sinister new form of censorship. But before we do, and I'm going to have to sign off on YouTube because they'll flag me for third-party content violation. So before I do that, I'm going to go over to YouTube, the regular channels and try to go through them. The old Odysee, GER, AOD. AOD says, defend the homeland and get your jabs. Indeed. Indeed. Maha. Voluntary deportation, assisted suicide, whatever next sounds too good to be true. It's a utopia. AOD. So it's a full-on utopia they've built for us here. Are USA and Aardvark still two different countries, or did I miss that bit? Nah, it's the same. It's essentially the same. Thank you guys all, and Highland too, for tuning in there. Let's see. Any other comments? Let's see. All right, circle back, Gur. I know we're on like opposite times. No avian culling in the Highlands yet. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in on the Odysee. Appreciate the chat and the comments. The Bitchute. I appreciate the Bitchute. Where there's some bugs coming back. They're not loading up I got like 3 or 4 videos hanging out there waiting to be processed. And the funny thing about Bitchute, we have a very large, we have 500 some odd subscribers, and we're getting like 50% viewership on the Bitchute. So that shows you the rigging of all these other big tech platforms. Because how the hell could we have 500 some odd subscribers and be averaging like 250 views a show on the Bitchute, and then you go to any other platform and it's like, oh, you got all these subscribers, but 5 people, you know what I mean, are actually viewing it. So anyway, shout out to Bitchute audience. Appreciate you guys over there. And I'm going to complain again to them, even though I love Bitchute. They gotta freaking load these videos, man, because we're like now current time, current events. You know what I mean? And it gets played out in 24 hours. We're on to the next news cycle. So anyhow, thank you guys for tuning in on the Bitchute. Kick, thank you for tuning in on the Kick, the Facebook, the Twitch, the YouTube. And we're going to be signing off YouTube, but we'll be on all these other channels. And then, of course, the Rumble. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Rumble. Thank you, Fat Bob, and the rest of the crew, Chloe. Who else did I see? I saw a couple others over there as well. Who am I missing? Carrie, yes. Weaponized News Hounds. Arr, 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 arr. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in on the Rumble and keeping that chat lively. Don't forget to go tune in to Ruckus on the Boiler Room. And with that, as always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, and have a great weekend. And we'll be back here on Monday for more Weaponized News. Signing off of YouTube now.